Hello, data fan! I'm excited to show you this stunning dashboard. It has all of the classical interactivity tools like showing tooltips here and here, to hiding legends with beautiful animations. Let's hide Canada and Africa. This is Europe. Yeah, edit the legends here. Okay, let me show back some of the data points. And you got this data zoom to zoom in and zoom out, or restore the zoom to its initial position. Switch to a bar chart. See all of the data points in one go, up to, when you're happy with the chart, download it as an image here. See the filters on the left? When I edit the reporting period, I get this After Effects-like easing in animation to change and edit the data points. There. Someone asked me if I should put animations between chart updates, and I was like, maybe not, they're hard to do, but with this library, I find that it's very enjoyable. And if I scroll a little, here's another deep dive, click to explore, and when I click on any of the data points from the scatter chart, I get this chart on the right that appears. Let me put more data points, and there you go. Last but not least, every one of those charts here are powered with JSON specifications, which means your coding agents and LLMs are able to generate and edit those charts very easily. You may ask, Vanille, is this app vibe code slope in JavaScript? Well, the answer is no. This app is pure Python, up to passing variables from here to here. This is all Python, and this is actually Streamlit, if you didn't recognize by this red data point here. This is all Streamlit, and those charts, each of those charts is powered by the brand new version 0.6 of my streamlit-echarts plugin. So today I want to showcase all of the features from streamlit-echarts so that your dashboard can also have this trendy modern aesthetic. This demo is actually online on this URL, like this, so you can play with it at the same time as I do. Let's go to the API guide, and here's our very first streamlit-echart. This is your basic bar chart, and the only argument it requires is an options that comes from its JavaScript counterpart. Let's head to, let me hide this, to the gallery of examples. You can see there are many ECharts examples. I am not going to scroll through all of those. We are going to pick the basic bar chart here. It's displayed here, and here's the JavaScript option. It's got this x-axis of type category, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that appear here, and a series of type values, and the series is a bar, and those are the values that are to be displayed to each of those data points. On Monday is 120, Tuesday 200, Wednesday 150. You copy-paste those options into a Python dictionary. Let's go back to our app here. And when this is done, let me scroll on the code. You've got these options as a Python dictionary, and then you pass these options inside st-echart at this point here. st-echart does all of the magic of transforming this Python dictionary into the JavaScript echart specification. If you're too lazy to transform the JSON specification to a Python dictionary, it's all JSON. You can ask your coding agent to do it. Let me show you. Maybe not from this Gemini. I first need to grab a more complex example. Let's take this gradient stacked area chart. It has got a lot of data, a lot of things to transform, and even this JavaScript code, which can be manipulated from a specific echarts or Python utility method. Copy all of this into our Gemini. Use your skill, because I created a coding agent skill to do it. Use your skill to transform into a Python dict for st-echarts, and then I will paste the text here. I will let it roll for a little. So here it's loading its skill to transform from JavaScript to Python. And there you go, you've got your Python dictionary version here. From streamlit-echarts, import st-echarts and JS code that I will present to you later. Just copy paste all of this, copy, and then you can paste it inside your options here. And it should work one-to-one. That's actually how I created most of the demos that you will see later in these examples. I recreated a lot of those demos just by using this LLM skill. I can show that to you in the next video if you're interested. But let's go back to our st-echarts. Next, we've got a little more arguments to deal with. From height and width, you can put a height of 250 pixels or 500 pixels to make it taller or shorter. You can put a chart with a width of 40%, and it's going to be a little bit smaller. Now, because it's streamlit-echart, it's a Streamlit component. It's very integrated inside Streamlit layout system, which means if you put a Streamlit container width of stretch, it's going to stretch for the whole width that it's available to it. Here I've got two columns. There's a second column with a width of stretch, so the chart is going to stretch to the full container. But here, because the container is of width content, it's only going to shrink to the width of the chart. So now you can also put a width of 400 pixels and have your container shrink to 400 pixels. Okay, this is not very special code. You got the st-echart with a set of options and your height specified here, 250 pixels, or a width of 200 pixels inside a container of width content to make it shrink. Now, how are those charts rendered under the hood? Let's head to our renderer. By default, we are using the canvas method. If I show you the DevTools, let me hide this. If you go to your code here, it's a canvas HTML, and it's putting those data points on a canvas, which is very good for high performance charting for large data sets or real-time streaming. But if you're someone like me who likes to edit its charts inside Illustrator or After Effects, you can render as SVJ, and now you've got this SVJ that you can copy to a file and then edit the file in Illustrator. Wait, I kind of want to show you now. Here you go. I copy-pasted the SVJ inside an icon.svj. If I close it, you can see it here. I can open it inside Google Chrome just once. And here's your SVJ chart. And now I can edit it. I just want to show you in Illustrator, open with Adobe Illustrator, up, and now you got this very crisp vector here, and you can change anything you want from, let's go to those layers here, you've got all of the layers of your SVJ, and you can change, let's change Monday, and let's make it red, and then there you go, you can edit your graph. Those lines are maybe a little too bold, so you can also change with the width in the aftermath and add a title. Make it very like journal, The Economist type of chart, and then put this back into your PowerPoint. So yeah, that's one of my secrets to building beautiful dashboards inside PowerPoint slides for customers. Let's hide this back, show back the sidebar, and make this full screen again. Yeah, well, the source code is you've got this renderer here, which is going to be this SVJ or canvas, and it's going to use this for rendering the e-charts. The charts just work, and they fit in the columns, and they render properly in SVJ, but now it's time to edit how they look like by using the theming. Now, by default, it's going to take the Streamlit theme, which means it grabs all of the colors that are specified in your theme, your custom theme or your Streamlit theme, to put it inside your chart. So here, okay, this is the Streamlit blue. If you remember from the showcase, you may see that all of those colors here, those are the normal Streamlit colors. But you don't have to use them if you don't want to. You also got your ECharts theme, like this dark theme or light theme. Those are ECharts theme. And if you are courageous, you can even pass your own theme from JSON. Like here I'm using a new theme that I've built from ECharts Theme Builder, that is here. I can show you how it looks like. Here's the theme. Let's take this one, for example. If you like those colors, you can download it as JSON. Let's click on this and JSON file. And then you load this JSON file here and pass it into your custom theme for ECharts. Nothing really happens here when I interact with the bar chart. There's another argument I need to add for managing interactions. ECharts closely follows the streamlit-echarts API for selection. You've got this onSelect equals rerun, which says whenever you fire a new chart event, you rerun the Streamlit script from top to bottom. And then there's a selection mode to points here, which means in your Python script, the chart event that you click, you get it back inside a Python variable. So when I click on this bar chart here, the Streamlit script will rerun from top to bottom, and this bar chart will be passed into the Python variable result of your ECharts to be displayed inside this data frame. And now I can go and click on in all of those bar charts here. I can show you the code before showing you the rest. For page interactions, this is your ECharts here with your options and your key, and then you got the onSelect rerun selection mode points that get back the select result inside a new Python variable on the next Streamlit rerun. And then you get the indices. I'll show you the JSON structure later, but this is it. You get your selection back into a Python variable. Okay, onSelect, so you can pass a selection mode of box or lasso, just like in the streamlit chart. So if I select those two data points, I see my JSON of data points, x55, it's this one, and the 6535 is this one. And I can move this selection to see only 1 point, or I can have 3 points here. Or use this lasso select, and you've got your lasso select to get all of the data points. But click 2 times to remove the selection. This works for the basic interactions, but ECharts has got way more events available inside the system. So to manage them, there's the events lower level API. In the lower level API, you have to unstructure your result by yourself. So if I click on this Tuesday bar chart, you get the raw chart event of name Tuesday and value 200 that you have to parse by yourself. And you've got more awesome, complex mouse event systems like mouse over. If I mouse over one of the bar charts, you can see that it updates my JSON Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on hovering. And there's legend change, the axis change. There's a lot of different events. And the way you manage them inside the lower level API is by, hey, here you go. Here's your click result. Inside the events, you put a dictionary of the events, the ECharts events that you want to listen to, and a JavaScript method to pass inside the event callback. So here it's going to return the name and the value. And for here, the mouse over, it's going to return the name and the value too. And then if I go back here, you can see the name and value of the chart event. You then have to go inside the ECharts documentation to see how many. We can go and see them actually if you're interested. you should go to the API documentation for events. Here you are going to see all of your events. You can react to data zoom, to legend scroll, to restore, to a lot of different events. This is very low level, but that's available for you if you don't want to fork the library to do it yourself. And this is exactly how this part of the demo was coded. This is a Streamlit fragment where each click results in a Python variable that filters the data frame to show another streamlit-echarts. I like seeing those animations. So you see that this chart here, it persists between Streamlit reruns. And in basic Streamlit, there's a specific argument to add to a widget if you want it to persist between reruns. It's called the key argument. And if your chart on the left doesn't have a key, it's going to be destroyed and resurrected like a phoenix. But on the right, it's going to stay fixed like a golem, and it's going to be like, I'm here for you. So if you rerun this chart, you can see on the left, it's being remounted as a widget, but on the right, it's just going to set the new options for the chart that has persisted. So it's going to pass new options in st-echart, and st-echart is going to handle how to update the data in the chart. But there's nothing to see, the st-echart of options, and this one has a key of stable. In this animation, you see that we keep the same number of series and we just update the data. But what happens if you want the animation to move between different types of series? There's a specific low-level echarts argument that is called replace merge. You change the options in session state, and when updating the chart with replace merge equals true, you can actually change the number of data points through animation. That is very cool. So you can do this drill down fruit. When I click, it's stored in session state. It filters the data set and gives you back a data frame of different values. So I really like this one. Well, the code is, I'll leave the code in the description below if you want to read it. I forgot to tell you about another argument, which is a Streamlit-specific callback named onChange, where you can run a specific Python method whenever a chart event fires. So here, if I click on this Tuesday, it's going to update session state to add 1, like your basic callback method. So I can show you the code for this. Again, there's a st-echart with options that are stored in session state. And if you want to edit or update your session state inside the callback, you can put an onChange callback that fires when you click on a bar chart. This calls the onChart change, which is this callback here. Well, for now, I'm only updating the data at random and changing the session state to increment it by 1. But here, inside this callback, you could actually fetch a REST API or fetch your database for new data to display in ECharts. There is a map argument. I made a demo of this one because there's an argument. Oops. If I click on Brazil, Russia, USA, you get the title, the label of the country and its value from the data. And I think I load the JeoJSON world JeoJSON map from this GitHub account, put it in cache data, and there's a specific, here you have your options, but you have to use a specific streamlit-echarts object that is called map to put the world geo inside a map object and map this map object into st-echarts. I didn't load all of the GeoJSON inside the library. You need to go and fetch it by yourself. Okay, that was a lot of interactivity. As you can see, when I replace merge or use the map, whenever I click on something, there's specific Streamlit magic happening. But what if you want to add additional JavaScript logic inside those events? Well, just like what we did with the map object in streamlit-echarts, we have a custom JavaScript code object that you can use inside your options. This is what enables you to build those specific JavaScript tooltips formatters, Wednesday 150 units or 110 units. Okay, let me show you the code for this tooltip here. If I show the source code, you've got this Python dictionary of tooltip options. This is going to be passed inside streamlit-echarts, and in there I specify that the formatter is a JavaScript code, and the JavaScript code is going to return the name of the first data point of the selected series and its value and the units at the end. On the Python server side, we are going to parse this as JavaScript and inject it inside the ECharts options. That's how you get your linear gradient or formatter working. I think it was this demo. Now, if I show you this demo here, this gradient, you see that the color here also depends on ECharts graphic linear gradient. And this here, you have to pass it inside a JS code. So let me go to the examples, because this is one of those that I built for you. I mean, the coding agent built for us. And here you've got your gradient, and same in the source code, you get your JS code of new ECharts graphic linear gradient. Going back to API guide, what is left? We've got your collapsible layout. There was a bug in the previous ECharts version, but it was also involving Streamlit components, where it didn't display EChart charts inside tabs or expanders, and now it does. No chart, there's a chart here that appears. Same for expander. If you show the expander, it's going to show you the chart. Now, in reality, there's a resize observer that hides or expands the chart depending on its container. So that's why you may not see it, but here it's actually a height of 0. And when you show it, it's actually a height of 400 pixels. And this works in all of the collapsible containers, like this popover. You can now put chart in popover. I should have put a title, or even in dialog boxes, like this dialog box. Each chart is there with animations. Last but not least, if you're not a fan of JSON, there's a Python library for EChart that is called PyECharts. You can download it by pip installing PyECharts, or if you're lazy, you pip install streamlit-echarts of PyECharts. All it does is pull the PyECharts libraries. There's no big deal. And then you can build your basic EChart. It's got all of your EChart tools, like hiding legend, toolbar, tooltip, etc. Your line chart, pie chart. It's basic EChart. You can see it keeps the Streamlit theme, because you can inject any of the previous arguments from streamlit-echarts. You can put it inside the PyEChart version too. And it's got events too. And you can see you've got the name and the value. It's like ECharts, but it works with pure Python. PyEChart, so this is your options, which is a Python class, a Python object, your toolbox options. This is all structured, so you've got all of your auto-completion here that shows. And here, that looks a little like Plotly. If you're used to Plotly and Plotly Express, this does look like Plotly Express. And yeah, I mean, it's Python. At this point, it's Python. You know what you're doing. Your coding agent knows what to do. But yeah, install it. Pip install streamlit-echarts inside your environment to test it. You've got a whole example gallery I put out for you, where you can see a lot of the gallery charts here. You're going to find them inside the gallery. So just scroll. Like 80%, 85% of the charts work. Maybe not this one may bug. And I think those charts, yeah, those line race works. Like, for example, one of my favorites one is this line race. Woo! Go Norway! Germany is catching up, but Iceland is here. Poland, Russia, United Kingdom. Yeah, Norway. We should move to Norway. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. You've got also the waterfall chart. I kind of like it. Mixed line and chart. I'll let you explore. There's a lot to explore. One I wanted to show that I really like. I think there's you've got your tree maps, which I think you can click on the tree maps to see everything. Ooh, I forgot to. Oops, there's a bug here. I forgot to change the JavaScript part here. I need to edit this. We love improvising those videos, right? Parallel, I think parallel is cool looking. Parallel. Those are not my favorite. I think there's a gauge ring that I really like. This one. It's using a streamlit fragment that every 2 seconds change the options, and you can see this, yeah, dynamic animation. There are new ones that come, for example, Matrix is new from ECharts 6. Streamlit-echarts version 0.6 depends on Streamlit-echarts version 0.6 depends on Streamlit version 6. On ECharts version 6. Can you tell I'm a Streamlit fan? And so you got your matrix. Oh, yeah. You can use a matrix to build those matrix charts here inside Streamlit, but especially this matrix here is responsive. Look at this. It's responsive, all thanks to the ECharts matrix. That is beautiful. I like this. There are many more to check. I'll leave you with all of those charts. Don't hesitate. You can pull the skill. I think the Streamlit skill, I put it inside the repo. So if you go to the repo, I put a Gemini and Cloud skill. I'm using Gemini CLI and Cloud Code. So you've got your JavaScript eChart to Streamlit skill that you can reuse, or even what I actually do here is I've got a skill that goes and fetches the URL of the demo, of the eCharts demo, to dump it inside this streamlit-echarts demo. So you can try it by yourself. Oh, I have to show you one last thing. There are a few extensions available by default that are integrated. There's Word Cloud, which is actually eCharts plugin, but I made it available here. And there's also Liquid Fill. If you want to fill for progress bar by using Liquid, you can. There's another one that I want to add, which is the eCharts statistics. Maybe in the next version, if you tell me to. I need to vibe maintain it. But yeah, build something with streamlit-echarts, share it to the world, and then tell me if you want to see how I resurrected streamlit-echarts with coding agents by putting an agent harness around it. I'll see you around. Bye!